Hi, this is Sean from Time and Talk. Today what I wanted to do is make a video about my warranty experience. As you know, if you watched my previous video, I sent my Rolex Explorer 214270 off for a warranty repair, and something quite surprising happened when it was away from me. And I just wanted to tell you about that. It'd be particularly interesting for you if you are a Rolex wearer, or obviously if you've got a 214270. So, as I recounted in my previous video, what happened is I started to hear a little bit of a knocking in the movement of the watch, and I knew it wasn't normal because if you've ever heard a Rolex movement, they're basically silent. You can't hear, even when you shake it next to your ear, you can't hear the winding mechanism of the watch. So something was slightly knocking inside the movement, and I thought, okay, something's going on here. I bought this watch in 2016, so as you know, Rolex have a 5-year warranty. It's 2020 now, but it was 2019 when I took it in. So I was well within warranty, so I took it back to the AD and sent it off to be repaired. As you may or may not know, what happens when you go into an AD to send a watch back to be repaired is they give you an estimate of what date it will be back, and it's so far in the future that they can't not meet that date. So it was like 8 weeks in the future or something like that, and they said they prioritize warranty repairs because they care about their product, as you would expect them to. So I have my watch back now. As you can see, I've got it on my wrist, but what happened was about 4 or 5 weeks later I received an email from the AD to say, you know, your watch is ready and you should come and pick it up. So I did. So I went to my local AD, not that local actually, which is a bit annoying, but I went down, picked up the watch. While I was in there, I inquired as to what was up with the watch, and they didn't tell me. They said it was repaired as necessary or something like that, it said on the receipt, which I thought was strange. You know, they already hadn't told me what was wrong with the watch. So I went away quite happy, a bit annoyed that I hadn't found out what was up with the watch because I wanted to make a video about it. And I also had the kind of greenish suede, I put a picture up in the corner, the greenish suede kind of Rolex service pouch, which I was quite excited to get my hands on, you know, geek that I am. So I went home, wore the watch, thought nothing of it. And then I was in a staff meeting, and the surprising thing is coming up, by the way. I was in a staff meeting a few days later, and I looked down at my watch and I kind of gasped and almost screamed because I realised that the hands had been replaced on the watch. And you may or may not know this, but my Rolex Explorer 214270 is a Mark 1 Explorer. I'll put a picture up of each so you can see the difference. Pre-2016, it was solid white gold numerals with slightly shorter hand. It's also known as the Short Hands Explorer. So it turns out that they replaced the hands with the longer handset from the 214270 of 2016. I was like, oh my god, they've replaced these hands without even asking me. You know, how dare they do that? They've stolen these hands from me, and I was quite angry about it. So obviously I rang the AD straight away to say, you know, what's happening here? Why is that being done? Tell me what you think about my reaction to that. I don't know, some people might be happy about that, because I know I've read on some forums that some people have inquired about turning their Mark 1 Explorer into a Mark 2 by having the dial and the hands replaced, and apparently rumour says that Rolex will do that, and there are even some forums that suggest that Rolex have been doing that without asking people, which is, by the way, as far as I can tell, not true. So I rang the AD, and then they put me in touch with Rolex, and I eventually had a conversation with the guy from Rolex, and I was like, okay, these hands have been replaced. That's not what I asked you to do. It was nothing to do with why I sent the watch in, and basically it seems like it was done by mistake. So it seems like they spotted some marks on the hands of the watch, which I find a little bit difficult to believe because it's only 3 years old. So I don't know, maybe they were damaged as they were being taken off the watch, as the dial was being taken out to inspect it or something like that. And they changed the hands mistakenly for the new hands, which are slightly longer. So, you know, I'll put pictures up of this watch with the two handsets on it. You might not even be able to tell the difference though. The difference is subtle, but it's definitely there. So basically the outcome of it was I've got to send my watch back for the handset to be put on again for a correct version of the hands. I was told that if you send a watch into Rolex, because obviously I was a bit kind of thinking, okay, what happens if I send another watch into Rolex? Is it going to come back with incorrect parts on it? So he said no, basically if you send a watch in, they will only replace things on a like-for-like basis, and obviously this wasn't like-for-like in my opinion, so I had to have it sent back. I did inquire what was originally wrong with the watch when I sent it in. Something had to happen to the setting lever, which is apparently quite common. It's a part of the watch movement that has quite a lot of wear to it naturally. I'm always fiddling about with it as well. It's probably my fault. So went back to the AD and sent it again, and I eventually got it back again completely as I had sent it, if you like. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments of this. Perhaps you think I'm overreacting. Perhaps you would prefer the handset with the longer hands, which apparently people think is more proportional. You would prefer that handset on your watch. In terms of Rolex, they said that they were going to send me a letter of apology or something like that. I haven't heard anything about that yet. But we'll see what happens in relation to that. But I'm just glad they got it sorted, because obviously I was worried about the long-term value of the watch and whether it would affect that, because, you know, would you buy a Rolex with an incorrect part on it, an incorrect set of hands? And I know I wouldn't, even if I thought it was a better fit for the watch proportionally. Yeah, so tell me what you think of my story in the comments, whether you would prefer the Mark II hands and dial on your Mark 1. Kind of reaffirm my love for the Mark 1. Actually, I genuinely do prefer the Mark 1 Explorer. I'm not just saying that because I own it, and I did have the chance to have the updated hands, and I actually thought they looked more proportional in a sense, but also a little bit more bulky and less in fitting with what I wanted for the watch. Tell me if you've ever had any experience sending your watch in to service or warranty repair, and you know what happened to you. Thanks very much for watching my channel. If you like it, please subscribe. Every little helps. Thanks very much. Bye bye.